While this is rewinding, it'll take a moment to rewind. What I'll do is I'm just going to use my own headphones, so we'll just take this on. Hang on just a minute, don't... It's always fantastic to run trade tests on these machines. This is a Revox B77 and it's my pride and joy. And this is the way that I like to run trade tests here at home, and a lot of us do this. It's not so unsimilar from the way perhaps it would have been done in a studio, although the setting is obviously very different. I'm just going to start a normal session. What you're listening to is BBC's 440 Hz tone, which was customary before the transmission of the test card would come on. And in a moment, when this reel rewinds, we can start our session properly so you can get a demonstration. Okay, there we go. Hang on. Alright. I can now just check that. And there we are. And that's it all set to do. And we'll take the tone off. And we can, in a moment, do this. Put the test card up. And there's test card D. And there you see, I've tried this transmission in your own living room.
Now we return you to the test card and some music.
One day, my mother was in the kitchen ironing or something, and she happened to leave the telly on, and this peculiar pattern came on with this rather nice music. As soon as she heard it, she came through and tried to switch the television off. And I said, "No, can you leave this on, please? It's nice." And that was it. That was the moment, which was to shape, in some ways, the rest of my life, really.
I used to sit in my grandmother's home and wait for the first film of the day, and we had the BBC 2625 test card, which just had tone, you know, that irritating noise that sends you up the wall. I'll try and demonstrate it.
They needed to have some kind of pattern or design to show technical proportions of balance, of focus, convergence, and all the technical things that were used to set up a television receiver correctly. And as things developed into the 1970s with the introduction of colour, of course, there needed to be a whole range of cards and test patterns which could be used for testing these new sets in the viewer's home and of course in the workplace.
Finally, it should be stressed that the setting of the hidden controls is a complicated matter, and that no adjustments of these should be attempted by the viewer.
I heard the music really without thinking very much about it, and I suddenly thought, this is good, this music's really good, and I like this piece. Then I started to recognise pieces, and getting to know, you start to have your own favourites.
I just found I began to enjoy this music, and it became familiar, and it just grew and grew. You weren't really supposed to watch this. It wasn't advertised in the schedules, and I think a lot of people thought, well, close it down, you know, it's just going to be blank screen. But on would come the test card and all this great music. In fact, my tastes in music were great, inspired by the test card.
There is a slight eccentricity because people then say, well, you watch the test card, and we say, well, the test card will be on, but it's the music that we're listening to. It just goes hand in hand. It's like salt and pepper, really. Many people like to run their music, their trade test music, on CD or mini disc, but I prefer to use reel-to-reel. And I have here my collection, which Here you have the BBC Two tapes from 1972 right through to 1984, and all the BBC One tapes under the piano there, BBC Television tapes, all there, and there's a vast amount of wonderful, wonderful material there. One day I'd have to take that with me in my coffin when I die, but I'd have to have a huge coffin.
You know, throughout my childhood and adolescent years, I used to quite often think to myself, well, I can't be alone. There's about, at the time, there's about, what, 57 million people in this country. Surely I'm not alone.
Paul Sautel, who said to me, how about hiring a room in a hotel? You know, we'll get 20 people along, sort of thing. And I laughed. I thought, that's ridiculous. Who would come? You know, silly idea. I didn't think about it. And so just as issue 1 of the magazine was launched in early 1990, it was launched at our first ever annual convention. And I think collectively we came about the name the Test Card Circle.
Good evening. This is the Test Card Circle's 2002 convention here at the Royal Hope Hotel in Leominster. So, ladies and gentlemen, would you please welcome the one and only Mr. Stuart Montgomery.
Thank you, very kind. It's fabulous to see.
When we began this 13 years ago, we thought, well, we might get a few more people interested. So all three of us are absolutely amazed that here we are 13 years on and stronger than ever and getting more and more people. I think this weekend we have just enrolled our 200th member. So from 13 years ago when there was 20 of us, that's not bad going.
We've been coming to the Royal Oak Hotel now for, well, this is the 13th time since 1990. And I suppose that we could say, therefore, that it's become our spiritual home. This is the plaque that we're unveiling on Saturday the 6th of April this year at our convention. And we thought it was rather fitting that we called it our spiritual home because it means so much to us and we meet so many of our friends now there.
When I did start coming here, I didn't really know who they all were. Some of them seemed a little bit odd to me. They all seemed a kind of a mixed bunch of people. I would now say, without hesitation, that the people in the room next door represent the hardcore of my best friends, because I've made some extraordinary friendships through the Test Card Circle and coming to the convention. And I now look forward to coming to being with a kind of family.
I don't like the tone. I think it's very don't know, it just, it's quite grating really, and we have it in our house as well. But not quite as often as Stuart, I don't think.
What a fab weekend it's been. I can't remember who said, in this mad world it's the mad who are the sane ones, but some of my best friends ever are here. About 80 people this weekend, and it's been the best convention for 5 years, and I think that we're sending a lot of people home this afternoon really happy and craving for another convention 52 weeks from now.
It's unusual to get a society where the people have such a diversity of origin, such a diversity of ability, of intellect, of upbringing. You've got an incredibly wide group of people here. It's a group of people who under natural circumstances would not be brought together, and yet the curious aspect of it is that here you've got very much a mixed cross-section of humanity together, and we all get on like a house on fire, which I think is interesting.